Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, South Sudanese all over the world. This is Ruth Nyalel Jemmy Sky, and I have some few comments that I want to share with the things that have been going on in the country since yesterday. Something very, very serious happened, and that was the amendment of the peace agreement, the 2018 peace agreement that was amended by President Kiir himself. And one very important thing that I want to bring to your attention is that we have now confirmed that the only political party that is fighting for the right of South Sudanese is none other than SPLA-IO. And why am I saying SPLA-IO? SPLA-IO is the one that when you look at the mission and the vision of SPLA-IO, you will find every South Sudanese is involved in the mission of SPLA-IO. And they are also, their mission and vision talk about the truth agenda about South Sudan, why we found South Sudan, and why other all tribe in South Sudan important in our country. Whether you are minority or the majority, it say the all 64 tribes have equal rights when it comes to the resources, when it comes to the opportunities that the country have. And we also know that the first vice president, the father of the self-determination, none other than Dr. Riek Machar Durgon, have been under arrest since the 26th of March 2025 up to today. He is still under house arrest. And there is something that is so interesting. And so when you look at the things that are happening since the arrest of the first vice president, that shows that actually the only person that have been the obstacle to the government of South Sudan not to do the shadow things and all the bad things they are doing right now have been the first vice president, who have been preventing them not to do all the bad things that they are doing now when they arrested the first vice president. And this is something that every South Sudanese can see right now, that actually the government of South Sudan that is being led by the SPLA-IG party doesn't care about the citizen of South Sudan, doesn't care about the people of South Sudan. They only care about their leadership, they only care about their position, and they want to remain in power for a very long time. Whether you, the South Sudanese, suffer, whether you don't have hospitals, whether you don't have schools, whether you don't have food to eat, they don't care about you. They only care about themselves. And this is something that brought us to the interview of the president yesterday. A lot of questions that we expected to be asked by Jeff Koinange were not asked. And also the two very important questions that he asked yesterday were not also answered. I remember when Jeff Koinange was asking that, how did you manage? He asked that question 4 times. How did you manage? He said that they have seen the good things that are happening in the country, but how did you manage? And he said that they managed not to fight by compromising, but in reality, there was not compromise because the first vice president is under house arrest. So that alone shows that there was no compromise. No, there was silence of voices. He could have said that he silenced other parties' voices because there are other parties that are out. They are being led out in exile. And some others are under house arrest or in prison. So why was President Kiir so hypocrite that he will lie, that he compromised when the first vice president that he himself signed a peace agreement with is under house arrest? So this is something that shows that President Kiir actually is not for the people of South Sudan, but is only for himself and his cabinet. And we have all seen that. So that means the only political leader that the government of South Sudan respect and fear, he is under house arrest. That means also the peace in itself, the dialogue, the South Sudan economy, everything good about South Sudan is under house arrest. Because the only person that care about South Sudan is under house arrest today. Not because that he made any mistake, but because he is the only person that is fighting for the people of South Sudan, and the government want to continue to manipulate South Sudanese and continue to oppress the innocent South Sudanese that have been suffering for almost 43 years since the struggle of the independence of South Sudan started many 43 years ago. Let again go back. I wrote a statement, and I want to read the statement that I wrote. But before that, let me ask you, if President Kiir cannot honor a peace agreement that himself signed, if he cannot honor the promises that he gave the South Sudanese, what makes you think that he will deliver services when you again vote him in office? Because this is just common sense. You just need to use common sense. If he cannot give you development right now, then what makes you think he will give you development after appointing him in the office for the second term? And he already spent 20 years plus, because he's only remaining with 19 days today for him to reach 21 years. And before that, there is something that people need to know. A lot of people are saying Jeff Koinange came to South Sudan because he was looking for money. Jeff Koinange was invited to South Sudan by President Salva. And it was so funny that you invite a journalist and you cannot be able to answer questions that will be asked by the journalist. Because a lot of questions that Jeff Koinange came with from Kenya were not asked. Questions that were generated within the government in Juba, in J1, were the ones that were asked, because they tried to prepare President Salva with those questions, that these are the questions he can manage to answer. But he did not manage to answer any question. Yesterday we were ashamed again for the third time. So Jeff Koinange did not come to South Sudan. He was invited to South Sudan. And to those who are saying he came to take money in South Sudan, please excuse Jeff Koinange. Jeff Koinange is not a poor journalist. No, he was raised as a reed kid. So before you open your mouth and you talk too much South Sudanese, don't abuse people that do not come to look for your money. He was invited to South Sudan, and it's not good for you to insult a journalist that was invited by your government to come and expose the bad things that are happening within, because the government of South Sudan and the people in the government knew very well that President Salva Kiir will not be able to answer those questions. So why are you insulting a journalist that was invited to come to your country? So that shows that you South Sudanese, or you people that were insulting Jeff Koinange, that he came to South Sudan looking for money, I will say you need to correct your language. That video, that interview was not fake. All of us, we watched the interview, and President Salva was defeated. So he invited a journalist, but he was not prepared to answer question. He could not manage. We all saw President Salva could not manage to talk. So don't abuse Jeff Koinange. He's not a poor journalist again. He's a rich journalist. And another question goes to the South Sudanese. Why will President Kiir allow foreign journalists to interview him, and he doesn't want his own journalists in his own country, in his own government, cannot interview him? This is a question. Why will President Salva not be interviewed by South Sudanese journalists, but he allow foreign journalists to come and interview him? So what is he fearing? What is going on? Or don't we have qualified journalists in South Sudan that can manage to interview President Salva Kiir? I have a statement that I wrote, and I want to read the statement to you. And this is my statement that is going to South Sudan government, statement that is going to all the parties, and a statement that is going to South Sudanese at large and all the partners of South Sudan. The R-Access 2018 Peace Agreement belongs to all signatories, not to one party. The Liberalized Peace Agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan, R-Access signed in 2018, was not the property of one person, one party, or one group. It was a collective agreement reached through negotiations involving South Sudanese political parties, opposition groups, and supported by regional and international partners. The agreement involved parties. It involved parties, including the Transitional Government of National Unity, the RT-GONO, SPLA-IO, SPLA-IG, the SPLA former detainees, South Sudan Opposition Alliance, which is SUA, other political parties, OPP, and other stakeholders who participated in the peace process. It was also supported and witnessed by key regional and international actors, including IGAD, the African Union, the RJAMEC, the Tricas, United States, United Kingdom, and Norway, the European Union, the United Nations, and other members of the international community who invested their efforts and resources to bring peace to South Sudan. The question every South Sudanese must ask is this: if an agreement was signed by many parties and supported by original leaders and international guarantors, can it be changed by one person? Can it be changed by one party? Can it be changed or signed by one people or one group? So I think it should involve all the signatories in the peace agreement, including the civil society, including the churches, including OPP, and everybody, SPLA-IO being, and also SPLA-IG being the lead parties in the signatories of the peace agreement. So there's no way that President Salva Kiir will wake up in the morning and sign or amend the peace agreement without all these actors. This shows it's a violation to the peace agreement, and everybody should be worried. The South Sudanese should be worried, the other parties should be worried, and we should be asking ourselves, what next? Because if we can wake up in the morning and sign an amendment that was cooked by many people, that did not just come in a single day, people went through process, through negotiations, through series of discussions for it to be made an agreement, and you wake up one morning and sign. This is not for the betterness of South Sudan. And I remember the first vice president stated very well that if you violate this peace agreement, there will be no other peace agreement that will be signed. And when you look at all this, that's the reason why the first vice president is where? Is the first vice president is under house arrest. So the house arrest of the first vice president have nothing to do with the NAATH incident. But first, it has something to do with all the fake memorandum of understanding that are being signed within the country and its neighboring countries, within the government, all the bad thing they are doing, because now we see clearly why the first vice president is under house arrest is because of this agreement. It's because the president will get a time to be able to amend this peace agreement. And everybody should be worried right now. It's not just about your life. It is not just about your future. It is the generation that are yet to come that President Salva is violating. Is the war that is signing, because if President Salva can sign or amend the peace agreement alone, this is a declaration of war in the government. This is a declaration of war in the country. But a lot of South Sudanese are not seeing the effect of this peace agreement being amended right now, because you don't even care about what happened in your country. You don't even care about even what your children are eating. How many street children do we have? Those are children of people. How many children are suffering do we have? The only people that understand what it means to suffer are the people that are still fighting for this country. And when we want to talk, you want to open your mouth so wide and ask questions that are not important. The issue is the government of South Sudan will be remembered as the only government that have destroyed the country. The only government that don't want South Sudan to go forward. And we could see very clearly, before there was a lot of things that were going on. But now we could see clearly who is the problem in the country. Who is taking us back in the country. And now to finalize this is South Sudan has suffered enough from broken promises. This is not the only first agreement that have been signed under the government of President Salva. A lot of governments, a lot of agreements have been signed. A lot of negotiations have been done to save South Sudan as a country. But President Kiir government always violate. The same way he's violating the peace agreement, the same way he amended the 2018 peace agreement yesterday, without all the partners or the signatories in the peace agreement, shows that he himself, President Salva, have been the one violating all the peace agreements that have been signed under his leadership. Only somebody that don't have a brain will be able to say and push or say another person have been the one violating the peace agreements. But all the agreements that have been violated were confirmed yesterday by President Salva when he amended the 2018 peace agreement without all the signatories that are in that document. So that showed that President Salva is the only biggest problem that our nation, South Sudan, have. And only those that love corruption, only those that don't love South Sudan to go forward, only those that want to continue to oppress the South Sudanese, those that still think that their tribe should be the only one to lead, will be the people that will continue to support President Salva Kiir. But the whole world, the whole Africa, the whole East Africa, everybody now have confirmed and know that President Salva Kiir Mayardit, he is the person that have been violating all the peace agreements in South Sudan, and is the only person that making South Sudan not to go to peace. He always take us back to war. He will promise peace with his mouth, but he act by a bullet. That's what he does. He say peace with his mouth, sign it with his hands, but he shoot. His action is always taking South Sudan back as a country. So to all South Sudanese, I'm here to remind you that we can do without President Salva, but we cannot do without peace agreement. We can do without the leaders in the peace agreement, but we cannot do without the peace agreement. That peace agreement is the future of the next generation. Not only this generation, but the next generation of South Sudan lives depend in the 2018 peace agreement. The 2018 peace agreement, the R-Axis, was created to unite South Sudanese, not to divide the nation, but to put us together. So from here, I am here to call for the release of the first vice president, the 7 political detainees, and all the leaders that have been arrested and they have not been taken to court. Because if you arrest someone and you don't give them a right to try them in court, then that alone shows you're also violating their rights. So there's no right that you're again protecting when it's come to that. So the question still remains to South Sudanese. Do you still trust someone that can sign a peace agreement today with all parties and wake up in the morning and again amend that same peace agreement without the other partner? Another issue is, this is a message that I'm leaving behind. Everybody in South Sudan have confirmed that South Sudan need a leader, that South Sudan need a new president. Everybody in South Sudan have accepted that. But the biggest problem is there are some people that think that South Sudan leadership must come from our community, that South Sudan leadership must come from our tribe. Every tribe in South Sudan deserves to lead. Every tribe in South Sudan deserves to give us a president in South Sudan. So you have to change that mentality. That is a poor mentality. That is a very ill and evil mentality, that a country with 63 or 64 tribes, you will wake up one day and say that only your tribe should be the only tribe to lead the country. A lot of Dinka people are saying that yes, we accept that a new leader should come, but a new leader must come from the Dinka community. This is the story that they're trying to tell everybody. But I'm here to remind you, you need to wake up from that dream. You need to wake up from that sleep, because I am here to tell you that all the 64 tribes of South Sudan, you already lead. So we are remaining with 63 tribes. We want to see what kind of leadership can Shilu give us? What kind of leadership can the Nuer give us? What kind of leadership can the Zande give us? What kind of leadership can the Moro give us? So we want to see the whole tribe of South Sudan, each tribe trying their best and giving us leadership. So when we come to take the truth, when we are saying the truth and you want to talk about it, tribalism, ask yourself first, are you not tribalism? Because we fought for South Sudan, all of us. We vote for South Sudan, all of us. But after, when we got the independence, all other 63 tribes were thinking on how we are going to build South Sudan. But you people with already mentality of oppression, with already mentality that it's only your tribe must be in power, then let me ask you, what did you think? You came up with the 2013 massacre. And up to today, under your leadership, the government, President Salva, is only remaining with 19 days. So check the kind of leadership that your tribe can give us. We don't hate Dinka people. Dinka people are South Sudanese. But what you are creating for yourself is too much. You have to come down to the level of every South Sudanese. You are not superior. You are South Sudanese. You are equal to other 63 tribes of South Sudan. And change must come. Change must come, and change must come. You have to start telling yourself the truth that South Sudan is not for you alone. South Sudan is for the 64 tribes of South Sudan. And that's why the national anthem is not only sing in tribes, it's sing in a national language. That means that unite all of us. We have given you enough time. When you look at South Sudan leadership, every position that have money is for the Dinka people. Go to the court, the judges, it's you people. Go to all the position with money, the Ministry of Finance, it's you people. where that there is money that other tribes are being put. All the leaders in other tribes are being put in position that doesn't have money. Look at the ranks. Even ladies, musicians that did not even go to training are being given ranks. Even simple musicians that we all know are being given ranks when they don't even know how to train. They don't even know how to salute. But you have put our army uniform to the lowest. And let me tell you one thing. It will not work like that. South Sudan will change. South Sudan will change. The early you stop dreaming that your tribe is the only tribe that will be in power, the better for everybody. Or else it will not be sweet for you. Try to come down to the level of other 63 tribes and equalize yourself with them. Having too much V8 in Juba today, having too much houses today, having too much money in the bank today, even that money can change. Look at the world. There have been very rich cities in the world, very rich people, but today they are refugees in other people's countries. Today they are refugees. Today they are refugees. They had apartments. They had big mansions, but today they are refugees. So the table always turns. The table always turns. The table, it always turns. So come down to the level of other 63 tribes, join them and be in the same level, and don't think that the leadership must come from your tribe. No, said that any South Sudanese leader that comes, we just need leadership. When there's good leadership, we have security, development is done. Who will even bother themselves about leadership? Everybody wants to be busy, making good life, enjoying life. Life is short. We want to build life, not to be in the government. Because when you are in the government, you don't have life for yourself. So a lot of people don't know that. But a lot of people don't want to involve them. We just need peace. When there is peace, everybody will be busy building the economy of South Sudan in different sectors. So this is what I wanted to share with you today, South Sudanese. And South Sudan will change. And this is truth. It will change. And the change is almost. So release the first vice president, the 7 political detainees, all the leaders that are being detained without trial in court. Have a good evening.